come with me to a land where you can be a kid again. You could be anybody who you would like. You could be anybody. Come with me to the land of make-believe. Come with me to the never-ever land, to the Neverland, and you'll never come back. Come to the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, like, why would you not want to come? I totally would come. I mean, if you told me that, I would be hooked from cradle to grave. From the day that I was born until the day that till I die, almost. I'd believe it like a religion, and I would want to go with you because it sounds so exciting. And I tend to be a little gullible sometimes. And the younger I was, the more gullible I was. And I remember just believing in a lot of different things. And one of those things was when we would go to our neighbor's house, Kyle Fenders, and in space number 163. And I was about 3 years old. I may have been a little older, but it was around 1988. The year 1988, because I was born in 1985 in America, and so I was only a few years old, and we go to our neighbor's house, and he's playing video games, like computer games, except it's video games. It's a Nintendo, we call it a NES, Nintendo Entertainment System, and it's a video game console machine, and you hook it up to your VCR or directly to your TV television, and you play this Jumpman dude named Mario, and you run around and you try to save the princess. You try to save the girl because the bad monster took her. So you have to save the damsel in distress, the girl in distress. You have to go get her because the monster got her. The monster is a big turtle named Bowser, King of the Koopas. So you go and you try to save her because you're in love with her. Like being in love with a bartender, except you're not really in love with the bartender. That's a song by Usher or somebody else. I really don't remember all the different songs, but I do remember believing that I could like hop into the TV. Like when you're younger, you may think a lot of things like there's little people in the TV, and how did they get the people in the TV? And I thought, maybe I could go in the TV and travel with them. And maybe I was pretending and I didn't really believe it, but at the same time I don't really know if I really believed it or not, because I believed it so much that maybe I made myself believe it, but like maybe I was too young to play it myself, and I wasn't good enough to play because I was too young, but my siblings were playing. My siblings, my brothers and sisters, this is my brother and my sister, and they're playing with Kyle, which is our neighbor, and he's about as old as I am, or maybe just a year younger, born maybe 1986. He was born 1986, I was born 1985, I think. And it's like a lot of fun, and there's a lot of mystery, and you get sucked into these fantasies, into these science fiction kind of things, and you wonder, and you ask yourself all these questions like, is this what life should be like? Should our lives be like this? Should I be like Mario or Sonic? Can I be a superhero and save people? Do I really have to live in the real world? And then your nose might start growing like Pinocchio if you start lying about some of those things. And so we shouldn't lie and be like Pinocchio. We gotta be honest when we evaluate these different things in our lives. And so we gotta think about this. What kind of lives do we want to live for today and for tomorrow? We gotta understand the past of who we were and who we are, or else we may repeat the same mistakes of the past, and history will repeat itself, as life is a box of chocolate, and we must progress And we must have a little bit of pain, as you know, there must be some pain or there will be no gain. So we always have to continue and try our best. And when we fall down, we got to get back up again. But we have to still ask ourselves, what kind of people do we want to be for tomorrow? Can we be like Mario and Luigi and say Princess Toadstool, peace? And can we save people like Superman? Can we be fast like Sonic the Hedgehog? Can we be like Peter Pan and never grow up? I won't grow up, I won't grow up, I'll never learn how to make my bed. Da 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 danzoy, da 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 danzoy, da 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 danzoy, da 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 ramanui. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm mentioning just a little bit about myself, and I just gave you a little bit about me to you. I just gave you a little story. And I thought it was an interesting story, and it's very short, and it's very simple, but it's very interesting. I like to make videos like this where I talk about myself a little, and then I tend to go on rabbit trails where I talk about other things too, because that's kind of how I like to do it. Even though other people say it's very distracting, it's very distracting and confusing, but I still do it. I still do it. Mm-hmm. And so the moral of the story is, don't get sucked into video games. But I did it around 1988, or after that even, when I was about 3 years old and older. And even to this day, maybe I still get sucked into video games and fantasies about life and all the dreams that I want to do, and being black and being the next Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, and having a beautiful girlfriend and then wife and having 25 children and traveling the world, which I'm kind of doing, but still I can get sucked into some of that, and I can get lost in all the different things that I want to do, and then that could be really bad. Getting sucked into your dreams too much is like being sucked into your own video game that you're playing, which I've done many times through the course of my life when I'm really, really concentrated towards something like a video game and I really want to beat it or something. It's nice that I have so much commitment and so much focus and passion to finish something, and that I'm not a quitter, and that I don't always procrastinate upon those kinds of fun video game kind of things. But at the same time, it could be a little dangerous if I forget the more important things, if there are more important things at the time, or in the longer run, in the bigger picture of things. I gotta be mindful about all those kinds of things, and we always have to be mindful of all those kinds of things, and it's really hard to always know what's best for our lives. And that's why we should always ask other people how we should run our lives. As simple as that. As simple as that, you know what I'm saying? As simple as that. So we gotta keep our eyes open. So anyways, I'm just here to tell you a little bit about myself, and I make these videos where I talk about my life. This is my autobiography. I'm Joey Arnold, Joseph Scott Arnold, born on the 11th of February, the second month of 1985, in the Maple Syrup Hospital, or the Tualatin Valley Hospital in Forest Grove, Oregon, of the USA. And I was homeschooled, and I went to the Forest Grove High School, and to Word of Life Bible Institute in New York, and Appalachian Bible College, and to the Portland Community College, and Mount Hood Community College, and Revolution Hawaii, and then I came to teach English in Vietnam in 2012. And I do all these other things. I started making videos when I was 10 years old, and all this is really good and all, but I gotta be focused, and I gotta realize what is most important in life, which is telling people about Christ, about Jesus Christ, that there is a God, there is a creator in the world that came down and saved us from ourselves in a way, because we have sin, we do bad things, and we're not perfect, and we need to ask the Creator God to save us and to help us, or else things will get worse forever for us. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to try to help people realize what is most important for our lives and also for eternity, and that's very important. And in this video, I just wanted to tell you that there were times that I've got lost and I've been confused between reality and fantasy, even though I kind of always know, and some people think that I'm a little more confused than I really am. That's not to say that I'm not confused at all. I'm pretty confused sometimes. I'm not totally lost, and some people think I'm totally lost, and because of some of the mistakes I've made or some of the problems I've had in the past, like what are some of the things I've had, some of the symptoms or syndromes, like the Asperger's or the Treacher-Collins syndrome or delicious, or I can't, I can't really think of everything. Like, I was partly deaf until I was 10 years old, and so my mother had to help me, and I was a few years behind, and people thought I was mentally retarded, like even doctors and scientists and people like that, and because I was a few years behind, and so it's like I was mentally handicapped, silenced, like retarded, and I would never get past the 6th grade, but I got past the 6th grade, and so I'm still, I'm still a miracle. My mother almost died when she gave birth to me, and that's very important to remember, that sometimes we really don't know what's going to happen in the future. Maybe my mother could have thought I should abort my son. I should have an abortion. And my mother did think about that, but then she didn't. And some people say, well, abortion's okay. But if my mother had an abortion, I would be dead. And then you would not be talking to me right now. We can be pro-choice and try to give women freedom, but what about the freedom to the woman inside the woman? It's very important to be more pro-life than just to be pro-choice, and we should care about people. It's very important to be like that. Try to be open-minded. Try to learn always, and don't be too sucked into the video games like I did, and that's what this video is all about. I remember this like one day where we went to our neighbor's house, and I was about 3 years old in 1988, and we were playing Mario 1, I believe. This is the first Mario game for the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. And it came out in 1985, but this is just a few years later, like 1988, and you're playing it, and you're on like World 1, or I don't know what world, but you're jumping, and you're jumping on the big giant mushrooms. You have to jump from one mushroom to another mushroom, and the mushrooms are like mountains or hills. That's how big they are, and if you fall off, you fall to your death, like the coyote who's going after the roadrunner. And that's our lives. I was watching it, and I was feeling like I was in the game, and I would hold my older sister's hand, like we're diving in. I'm diving in, I'm going deep, head over my shoulder. I'm gonna get the immersion, I'm gonna go in, like we should immerse ourselves in the new cultures and languages or the different things that we're learning. We should immerse ourselves, like drown in it, like get surrounded by it, like you're surrounded by the water when you're drowning, and be in it all the time to learn. Life is full of mysteries and excitement and all the crazy things, and we got to keep our minds open, and we should never stop believing in the possibilities of the world, and everything can get better, and we shouldn't really limit things at all. We should never limit things, and the world is very interesting. No matter what happens in your life is never over. Did I say over or open? But you know what I'm saying? Like, life is like a box of chocolate, and life is very exciting. No matter what, life is very exciting. Don't give up. Always find something to smile about and to laugh about. And those are the kinds of people that I like the most in the world, are the people that smile and laugh. And they really know how to love life much better than you could ever imagine. Try not to be too serious. It's important to be serious at times, and there's a time to cry, and there's a time to be serious. But there's also a time to be happy and to appreciate things and to love things and to be in the moment. Be in the moment at times and enjoy the moment at times before it's too late. You know, really learn how to say I love you to the people that you want to say I love you to, like your family and to your friends, and to possibly to your boyfriends or girlfriends, your wife or your husband, or other people too. Just be there for people. It's very important to be there. I fell in love with a girl that I really liked when I was about 5 years old, back in 1990, in America. Her name was Tiffany Rousseau Cumbo, and I really liked her, and I started drawing pictures of her and me getting married when I was 8 years old in 1993. But she already had other boyfriends at that time, and she was about a year or two younger than me. And so she was getting other boyfriends, and then later she died. And it was very sad, but I was still her friend, and I really cared about her, even when she had other boyfriends. And then one day I was supposed to call her, and I wanted to spend more time with her, and just as friends, no, not as lovers, and we were never lovers, even though I liked her. I don't know if she ever liked me, but she was the first girl that I liked, since I was 5 years old, and I really liked her. But then one day she died, and I could have, said goodbye to her, and I should have called her. And that night, I had this gut feeling that I should call her. And if I don't, something might happen. And then the next morning, she died. And it's almost like I knew she was going to die. There was like this intuition deep inside me that she was going to die. And it's just very sad. So you gotta enjoy the moments, and you gotta say what you need to say to people before it's too late. Before it's too late. Because you never know when you'll be gone, and you never know when somebody else is going to be gone, and life is short, and I'm not here to try to depress you. I know I've heard people say this to me before, and when people say this to me, I kind of get sad. And you can get sad, and that's okay. It's okay to cry, but we got to get back up, and we got to realize that the tears is not the worst thing in the world. It's worse not to have any tears at all when you hear things like that. You're supposed to care. You're supposed to cry. You're supposed to miss people and to value other people in life. If you don't cry, that means you have no heart. And that is worse than crying. Crying is not bad. Crying helps us deal with the dramas and the emotions and feelings that life has. We're immersed in all that drama and emotions and feelings, and we really got to deal with it, not just through our reaction instantaneously. We got to think about it a little more. We got to evaluate the situations that comes at us, and we got to pray, and we got to help ourselves deal with it, and we got to ask other people to help us too. And we gotta really pray for wisdom, and that's very important. Very important. Otherwise, we might get sucked into it, like getting sucked into a video game, which I used to do when I was younger. And the older I get, the more I have to try not to get sucked into video games or get sucked into Facebook. 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 Thank you for watching. I'm Joey Arnold. And for more information, you can go to my Facebook. My Facebook. I have been in Vietnam since 2012. I am an English teacher. I am single. I was born in 1985. I am 29 years old. This is my bicycle. I had 3 other bicycles in 2013 in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, but they were stolen. My bicycles were stolen. 1, 2, 3. One bike was stolen, another one, and another one stolen. Different ways. I try to learn from my mistakes. This is a new one.